Hello, I'm Maryanna Franco and I'm here with Jason Barnard. And today we are talking about ChatGPT with search. How is it done? Where is it going? What's happening out there? And so on. It's scary, no?
I don't think so.
No?
I really don't think this is scary. I think this is super exciting. I can see why it might be scary and it might seem scary, but when you dig down to how it actually works and where they're going with it, it's a really great user experience. It's going to be brilliant for users and buyers. And the underlying technology is actually relatively simple if you don't dig down too geekily, which we won't. And fundamentally, it isn't going to change for the next 10 years. So we've got time. I find that exciting.
Why 10 years?
10 years, 12 years, 8 years, I don't know.
Take over in 5 years.
Oh, well, if they take over in 5 years, then we can all dig ourselves our graves and give up and go home.
Okay, very good. Okay, so how is it functioning right now? How is that whole thing working?
Well, ChatGPT have supposedly thrown a huge rock in the pond and broken the model by bringing search into ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is simply a machine that can have a conversation based on the data it has, and the data is generally 6 months to a year out of date, which meant that it was not very helpful for anything recent. Mm-hmm. And also it hallucinated, which we can talk about in another episode, because it didn't have access to any information it could fact check. And now what they've done is integrated Bing search into the ChatGPT answers. So 2 things it can do. Number 1 is give you up-to-date information, because it can mix its conversational engine, the chatbot, with up-to-date web search information. And it can use that web search information to semi-verify the facts. But obviously web search isn't factual. It's simply the most popular results, or the most probable or most helpful results. But coming back one step, it isn't new.
Okay.
Bing Copilot did this a year and a half ago. It was using it was actually using ChatGPT plus the Bing search results. So it's simply new to most people.
Yeah.
So we now have the chatbot working with the web index, the web search results. So it's able to have a conversation and it's up to date. Brilliant.
Okay.
Next step will be to be able to properly fact check. And that involves having a machine readable encyclopedia like Wikipedia, but tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times bigger, so that it can check that it's actually saying things that are correct and it doesn't, what we call hallucinate, make things up, lie, misinform. So that's the fundamental model for the next 10 years, 3 layers. The chatbot, driven by live search, which is up fresh and up to date, fact-checked by a knowledge graph, machine-readable encyclopedia. Yeah. So when you look at it like that, it doesn't seem so scary anymore, and it's going to be a stable system for many years to come.
Okay, 2 things. Is Gemini doing that with fact-checking on the Google Graph, on the knowledge graph? And second thing, you say it's not scary, but it could be, because if someone knows how to manipulate the system, they can teach the knowledge graph wrong things. Like someone who I know, for example, they invented the Gruty pool, something like that.
Something like Kalicube and Jason Barnard, for example. The Gruty pool, for your information, is an imaginary musical instrument that I made up. And it's a long story, and we won't tell it today. But, number 1, Gemini doesn't fact check any more than ChatGPT does. GPT does. AI overviews on Google search started to fact check and does a very limited amount of fact checking. And then we look at Google Learn About,
which is something we don't have in Europe yet.
No, it's an experiment. It will probably never become a fully fledged product. But it's a really good way to see where Google are going, and they've knocked it out of the park. If you think ChatGPT with search is impressive, Google Learn About takes it to a whole new level, because they have the chatbot element, the conversational engine, mixed with search results, fact-checking to a much greater extent than anybody else is able to do, and with the generative AI suggested pathways, suggested additional ideas, and stop and think.
I love that.
Why does it matter?
I loved it. Because it I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. But I loved it because it's, I got to engage with it directly. So it asked me a question, and out of, it's like, I want to test my knowledge. I want to know if I know the answer, and then I can click it, and it, it turns around and I get to see the answer. And I find it so fun and engaging. And yeah, and we were talking, I'm sorry, I wanted to make the connection because in the last episode we talked about walled gardens, and this is, as you were saying at the end of the episode, that this is the perfect example.
It's the ultimate walled garden.
Yeah, and it is.
Yeah, and right now it's a learning experience, which is, it really feels like an educational, pedagogical experience, where I start with a question and it says, did you think about this? Here's some context. Here's another opportunity. Here's something you might want to know. Here are some web resources.
Videos and everything. Go deeper and,
Yes.
did you want to ask this question?
So it's a real learning experience, and you can see it pedagogically. Imagine when they integrate product knowledge into that and they can start to sell you stuff. That's the funnel right there.
Yeah, it is.
And I find it hugely exciting. I mean, we talk about people being worried and scared. Or confused. I mean, it is changing, and it is slightly scary because we don't know where it's going, and it's changing very fast. But fundamentally, once again, you have the conversational engine, the chatbot, you have the search results, and you have the knowledge graph, this machine-readable encyclopedia, tens of thousands of times bigger than Wikipedia. Bring those three together, and you've got the entire machine.
Yeah.
And if you can master those three, you've won the game. So the only problem we have is that SEO masters the search result, but it doesn't master the chat engine, and it doesn't master the knowledge graph. SEO needs to expand the mastering LLMs, large language models, chatbots, the conversational engine, and mastering the knowledge graph. And that's what we do at Kalicube.
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased because Kalicube, all of these engines, if you ask any of them about Kalicube, about our topics, knowledge panels, personal brand management, reputation management, we are in the conversation from the get-go. And we didn't need to do anything in addition to the Kalicube process, which we've been using for 9 years now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea here is that you do
Bit
it
of an
easier.
upsell there.
Well, yeah, you always
Sorry.
do that. We are getting
You
used
always
to
do.
it. We are so getting used to it. I don't even notice anymore. The thing is that this is something that, you like to share the guidance and say, you can do it yourself. It's so easy and everything. And the truth is that, well, if it would be that easy, then you would run out of a business. So it is not that easy. I think that it's feasible. Is it
Feasible, yep.
Oh, look at me. It's feasible, but it's not that easy.
No, okay. It's a set of principles and a strategy that anybody can do. You don't need to be a geek. It isn't schema markup. You can do schema markup. It helps, but you don't need to. You don't need to do geeky tech stuff. It's branding and marketing package for the machine. Simple as that. We've got a 60-page guide on the Kalicube website, kalicube.com/guides. Download that, knock yourselves out, read it. It explains all of our secrets that we use as a strategy. I'm not worried about the business, because some people will not have the time, will not have the energy, and some people just want us to take care of it for them, at which point I have a business.
Yeah.
But the fundamental thing for me is that I want to share it. I've found with the Kalicube process the solution to digital marketing in search and assistive engines with AI, generative AI, chatbots, with the search results mixed in with the knowledge graph. I think it's fair to share it. And I can't serve everybody in the world, so there's no point in trying. What I can do is choose my perfect audience. My perfect audience is time poor, who cares about how their brand is represented and presented in these machines, and who wants control, who wants influence within these machines and wants visibility. And they're happy to invest in our services to ask us or get us to make that happen for them. And the rest of the world, go ahead. I've got nothing to hide in that, and I'm sharing as much as I possibly can. Sorry, that was a bit much, but
it's okay.
I get overexcited because, well, if you go back to Boo and Koala, when I was doing Boo and Koala, this is two cartoons looking up, Blue Dog and the Yellow Koala. One of the things was that I felt that these two cartoon characters who were teaching educating children in an edutainment environment. So teaching with fun and play was valuable and helpful. And I wanted to share it with the whole world because I felt it was valuable. And I don't need the whole world to pay me a fortune to have access to it. I need the whole world to pay me a tiny amount of money, or a portion of the whole world to pay me enough money to live. And that's fine. That's the business model.
I think that you should bring back the Blue and Koala, but with the bots, and just make a cartoon where they teach us how to do the geeky stuff that you do. That would be super fun.
Okay.
But I think that...
So some script writing to be done.
Yes.
And some voiceovers.
Oh, please invite me. I want to be ChatGPT because it's a girl. Anyway. I think that nowadays, I'm saying I think a lot. But 1 year ago, we had people overly obsessed about copywriting and ChatGPT replacing content writers and all of these things. And I think now everything kind of settled down, everything calmed down, and the SEOs went back to doing whatever they were doing before. And what I think is that it calmed down to a point where they kind of, in the beginning, everyone freaked out about ChatGPT. And now they're like, okay, it's not such a menace. I'm not going to freak out about this anymore. And nobody's thinking about the future the way that you're talking about it, right? So I think SEOs kind of went back to do whatever they were doing in the past. So everyone is talking about, canonicals or whatever, rendering and errors and keywords and everything. And site feed and, all of these things. And I feel like what they are missing is exactly this day. Like, I'm not part of the group. It's looking at the bigger picture, right? And just try to step out and think, okay, before it is a set of tasks related to rendering and canonicals and keywords and everything, this is a brand and a business. So how can I see this brand and this business and kind of like predict the future and not predict, but like make a long-term plan that will work for all of these chatbots and everything.
Yeah. And so, for me, the answer is to stop focusing on the details.
Yeah.
Take a step back and say, well, what do I need to do to communicate my brand to my audience in the places that they're hanging out naturally? What do I need to do to create the content, the branded content that resonates with that audience and helps that audience? Once I've done that and placed that content in the right places where my audience is hanging out, just not just my website, YouTube, Forbes, search engine land, LinkedIn, wherever your audience is hanging out, place that great content that you're creating, branded content, make sure that it's valuable to your audience and package it so the machines can understand it so that they can then replicate what they are seeing on all these platforms, that you are satisfying the user with great branded marketing content. They will then be able to deliver that same great branded marketing content to the subset of their users who are your audience. Won the game.
Yeah.
And obviously it's really easy for me to say, but from experience with Kalicube, over the last 4 years, we've been implementing the Kalicube process 100% from top to bottom. We've multiplied our revenues by 6 in 4 years. It works.
And I mean, if you get this done, then the ultimate amazing result you get is that when we talked on the last episode about buying a product from the SERP, is that the product that will be featured there will be your product.
Yeah.
Because you did all that work.
And it's significantly more likely that when somebody starts their research journey on Google Learn About, that they will come down the funnel and end up on your product.
Yeah.
And the other hugely valuable thing is that we've seen every time a new technology comes out, we're already on top of the game, which is why I personally don't feel that the future is scary. I feel the future is super exciting. So,
unless killer robots come and eat us all.
Let's hope they don't.
Okay. I think this is it for now. Yeah?
Delightful.
Okay.
What's the next chapter?
I will think about it.
Okay.
We can talk about killer robots. What do you think?
Absolutely something we can talk about. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah. Thank you.